Previously on Bleach, we're His Majesty's Royal Guard. I'm Thor. I'm the guy that shoots things. I'm the guy with the weird power. We at the network apologize for that interruption and now bring you a very special documentary for the month of November entitled Mustaches of Famous Dictators on the History Channel.
Yes, well, you see, the thing you have to understand here is that great men and their mustaches have always ruled the world since the time of antiquity. Of course, the example we can give is Stalin. Stalin's mustache was cared for by 3 members of his cabinet alone. Hitler, if he would have conquered Europe, would actually have devoted the entire country of Bulgaria to his fabulous mustache. But if we're talking about great dictators and their mustaches, of course we must mention the great Yhwach, who probably embodied the facial hair probably more so than any of those other men. Yhwach's mustache was much more than just a casual mustache. As you may notice here from chapter 484, he barely had anything more than just a casual scruffy little patch of nothing, but by just a chapter later, he grew into somewhat of a mustache, and by another 20 chapters, it was a full-blown, my god, man, that's an epic stash. Yeah, so we can only gather from this is that Yhwach's mustache is in fact the source of his power. The more power he gains, the more souls he absorbs back into himself, the more epic his stash becomes, good sir. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach chapter number 605, entitled, Don't Call My Name. And that's not a chapter title, that's actually meaning it. If you say my name in this video, an AC-130 is going to hone in on your house and obliterate a 3-block radius. So dear God, don't say my name! So we open up on the ruins of the Vanente, where we have the Captain Commander Shunsui Kyoraku just kinda having a nice little Sunday evening stroll in the rain, looking around at the rubble. Oh, our Captain Commander, right? You know, I'm pretty sure that is exactly what Yamamoto would do in this situation if he was still around. You know, he would be, watching all these battles going on. He'd be like, Chojuro, I'm going for my evening walk through the mall. I don't get it. I mean, I'm sure he has a plan. All right, I'm not bashing on Shunsui. We all know he's going to do something fucking epic, and I have an idea in this chapter what he's going to do, and it's going to be cool and everything. It's just, he's so laid back. I know it's his character. It's just, given the fact that this is the final arc, and so many Shinigami have died, pretty much everybody that isn't, like, a seated officer, a captain, or a lieutenant is pretty much dead at this point. Some captain lieutenants are dead at this point, and he just seems so carefree, like there's no big deal when there's all this death around him. So, in these situations, I just gotta wonder what's really going on upstairs. But anyway, he's just looking around at all the destroyed buildings, and he's figuring, like, I wonder if all of the buildings got restored to the way they were back before, the Vanente took over. I wonder if the buildings in the Seirete would be destroyed as well, or if it would just be the buildings that the Quincy's brought that would be destroyed. And also, by the way, I gotta mention this one thing because this is really just messing with my head. Okay, so in this one panel here, we can of course see Shunsui close up and we see both eyes. And in the next page, we also see both eyes. Now, last chapter, it was just like a glimpse of his eye. It wasn't like, it was something that could be mistaken. I can understand that from Kubo's perspective. Maybe drawing the image, he missed the eye. But this is a full frontal image of his eye. And we'll see it again in a couple panels. So I'm just going to assume that, yeah, he has 2 eyes now. Because Kubo's, I treat him like an idiot sometimes, but really he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's drawing. He makes some mistakes sometimes, but I don't think he could make, mistakes this subsequently in a row. It would be very unlikely. So I don't know if this means, like, Shunsui got a fake eye or false eye made. I could assume that. I mean, the Soul Society has the technology to make a fake arm for Soy Phone after she got it, destroyed by Barg. Paragon. It was actually, Unohana that restored it for her. So the idea that they could make a fake eye for him, that's not a surprise. I just wish there was some transition or something. But I don't think there's any deeper meaning behind it. I don't think there's going to be like, I know there was a big theory like, oh, he has 2 eyes. So that's Aizen, using his Kyokai so he gets to. I don't think it's anything like that, but he certainly probably does have 2 eyes at the moment. But anyway, we find out that he's actually not just talking to himself, he's actually having a conversation with dun-da-da-da, Jushiro Ukitake, who appears behind him. Hey, Ukitake, how you doing? Hey, you want a cup of tea? And he's like, what the fuck have you been? What the hell? I mean, seriously, you better have a damn good explanation for... Oh, shit, he does. Okay, he does have a good explanation. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was really gonna spaz out there, dude, Ukitake. I mean, like, your lieutenant has been in a life or death battle with a freaking Slipknot video. She got covered in fear goo all over her body. I mean, what have you been doing? But anyway, Ukitake responds to, Shunsui's comment with a simple, like, oh, well, if they're all destroyed, I guess we're just going to have to prop them back up again. Simple as that. He seems like himself, but at the same time, his facial expressions don't seem as, lighthearted as he usually is. Like, I actually get, is believable in the sense, like, okay, shit's going down, a lot of people have died, I'm really not in the mood to crack jokes here, I'm just want to get this done. That's the kind of air he's giving off. So Shunsui basically affirms that, yeah, the battles are now completely moved to the Soul Palace, there's really no more enemy soldiers left on the ground where they are, and that's where we get the major confusing aspect of this chapter. And I actually had to ask you guys about this because I know no idea. Ukitake mentions that this was all foreseen by the Kamikaki, to which Shunsui agrees, and then we see this panel. Is Ukitake turning into Pride from Fullmetal Alchemist? Because don't get me wrong, that would be the most epic fucking crossover ever. But it's just like, what? That's like, what's that? What is that? Seriously, I don't get it.
Holy shit! What is it, Shunsui? Oh, it's that shadow. It's, yeah, I was using the Kamikaki. No, I was just... Ukitake, are you Gecko Moria? We're doing this again, aren't we? I just need to know right now. I need you to tell me if you're Gecko Moria, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, okay? Can you tell me? Shunsui, you really need to stop reading One Piece. It's starting to warp your personality. Just tell me right now if you're Gecko Moria! No! Shunsui, for the 16th time, I am not Gecko fucking Moria! Okay, I'm just saying, that shadow looks a lot like... Hey, listen, I chose this shadow for a reason. It doesn't mean I'm freaking Moria. Okay, whatever.
I mean, he mentions it again. He calls it the Kamikaki, and he says it was successful. But after that, we don't get anything. Shunsui gives it a little lip service, like, oh, I guess we could hold out a little bit more. And he's like, oh, you sound like a doctor, Shunsui. What the fuck is that thing? So I asked you guys what you thought, and it goes back to this panel right here. This is back from chapter 547. That's the last time we saw Ukitake in this series before this chapter. Now, I originally assumed, I didn't really look that deeply into this panel. This panel and that chapter, like that chapter was pretty intense. If you go back and read chapter 547, it's the first chapter after the 5-week break. It was the main chapter where the Von and Reich began their invasion. It was a big fucking chapter. So this was only like 3 panels. I might have glanced over it for, greener pastures back then. But I originally assumed that, number one, this took place in the 13th Division barracks, and it was Ukitake, like, taking a bath or something because of his illness. Let me backtrack on that a little bit. First off, this takes place in Rukongai. This is not in the Seirete, so this is not the Squad 13 barracks. This is somewhat of a shrine, and then inside we have Ukitake, who is certainly, I thought he was taking a bath, but no, he is praying to looks like a lotus flower. And I made a joke like that's the Mazo statue from Naruto or something. Foxy Orange Ninja Show committing lasting errors. Sorry, folks. But yeah, that's a lotus flower. Now, apparently, that's a connection to Buddhist religion. I'm not a Buddhist. I don't know anyone that's a Buddhist, so you can forgive me if I didn't pick up on this. But of course, Buddhism, Shintoism, it's a huge aspect of Japanese culture, so that's where that comes from. So the idea here in that Kamikaki means basically like a deal with God or something like that. So the basic consensus here is that Ukitake was praying to this god and basically to cure his illness or to, like, for a very brief period of time so he can do something. I don't think it has anything connected with his Bankai. It has nothing even close to resembling his Zanpakuto in any way. Like his Zanpakuto, the initiation was, it mentioned water and lightning, and then his ability is to, like, reflect things. but a shadow with an eye in it, and plus it has a ring around it, which I think that's connected to something in Buddhism too. Like, isn't there a god that has like a ring around it or something? It was like Ashura. It's like, I don't know. Ashura, isn't that Hinduism? I don't know. But it has something to do with, I know I've seen this in a deity before, okay? And it has the eye, so you can leave your comments below on what you think this is. But, you know, I think it's just to introduce it in this chapter. Kubo doesn't go on to explain it. I'm sure we're going to get more explanations of what this is in subsequent chapters. But, yeah, Shunsui just basically agrees that, okay, we can handle a little bit more strain. We can hold out a little bit longer with this Kamikaki sort of thing. So they go to their separate ways. Ukitake's leaving, and he asks Shunsui where he's going. Shunsui asks him, oh, don't worry, I'll see you when I see you. I'm going to pay a visit to Central 46 for a bit. We get the title page. All right, so what is this? Chapter 605, right? So that's 126 chapters into the final arc. Now, I finally believe that Kubo is going to address Sosuke Aizen. I finally think this is the point. Shunsui is probably going to release Aizen and ask for his assistance on this. Maybe broker a deal with him, something with that, but he is most certainly going to resolve something with Central 46 regarding Aizen. And what's going to happen beyond this, I have no idea, but it's going to be somewhat of a, like, Aizen is the sort of guy that I can imagine is sitting in his jail cell. Shunsui comes up to him, he's like, hey, I'll let you out of here if you agree to help us with these Quincy bastards. I can see Aizen just being a massive troll and just being like, I could actually get out of here whenever I choose to fool the Sushinigami that you think you could lock me up in this cage, but I suppose I'll help you, or some shit like that. You know how it's gonna go, seeing that guy back in the series again. Although I am kind of excited, because when I haven't even reviewed any chapter with Aizen, because I didn't start reviewing Bleach until the Fullbringer arc. You know, the closest thing I ever got to Aizen was this motherfucker. So I'm kind of excited to have Aizen on my home turf, for me to diss Aizen in a Bleach review real time. I'm pumped for that. But yeah, he's definitely going to go address something with that, so that's my thoughts on that. Alright, so we then cut to the second half of the chapter, which is the epic battle between Ichibei Hyasubi and Yhwach. So basically we had that epic stare down last chapter, and now that's kind of cut away because Ichibei immediately takes his paintbrush, draws a line on the ground, then he hops back like a couple meters, probably like around 10-20 meters or somewhat, and he draws another line, and just kind of like a child, he's just like, in between these two lines, I'll have defeated you, Yhwach. Yhwach just lands before the first line. He doesn't step over it yet, and he's just like, I think you have that a little bit wrong. I'll have you dead within 3 paces of this, or some shit like that, you know, and I don't really get that insult. It's like, that's supposed to be an insult or something, because it's just like, I'll have you dead in, let's just say 20 meters. Let's say he drew 20 meters. Like, I'm gonna have you defeated in 20 meters, Yhwach. And Yhwach just lands. He's like, no, I'll have you defeated in 19 meters. Wahaha! Ultimate insult time. I have no idea. But anyway, regardless of that, you know, Ichibei just takes his paintbrush and draws a giant seal, and then he just states once again to Yhwach, he's like, you better not be saying my name so casually like that, dude. I'm serious. That's not me being funny. Seriously, shut up unless you want your throat to be gone. So all of a sudden, we get like a no transition whatsoever. Yhwach takes like 1 step over the line, and then boom! Titan hand! And then, so yeah, I guess Ichibei just summoned the damn Colossal Titan, because this shit's going down. A giant hand. You know, I've seen my share of really weird stuff. In fact, my entire army could be pretty much considered a freak show. And then I fought against that guy that summoned an entire legion of zombie skeletons to fight on his whim. And let's face it, I'm also kind of a godlike figure myself, but damn, this is where I gotta draw the line. This shit is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, everybody, say it with me. I'm sure we all thought the same damn joke at the same damn time. Talk to the hand, Bach! Here's one featuring Yoda that I found. Anyway, yeah, so he just gets, boom, rejected, got knocked back clean by 1,000 Ri. And Ri is like, I don't know if it's a unit of measurement just created by Kubo for Bleach. I know it was referenced before, because way back in the Arrancar arc, I think when, it was when Ikkaku was fighting against Eterod, and Yumachika was kind of on the sidelines, and he was like talking to the Soul Society. He's like, I need a spiritual infusion barrier set up within like 500 Ris of Karakura Town. So Ris is like the unit of measurement for the Soul Society. I don't know if it's something that was created or if it actually exists because the translator note gives it as a unit of measurement equating to 3,927 meters or 4,295 yards. So regardless of that, a very long distance anyway. Yhwach gets knocked back, and then, you know, Ichibei just kind of like, I guess he uses like Shumpo, appears right in front of him, and he's just like, he states the name of the technique, Senri Sutsu Sho, and he's like, anything that comes in contact with this thing, I guess when you cross the line, you just get boom, bitch slapped back 1,000 feet. So that's a pretty damn cool technique. It's just like the ultimate just get out of my face kind of technique, right? So Yhwach doesn't really, he's a little shocked by this at first, but he just kind of raises his hand and it's just like, oh, well, okay, whatever. He just raises his hand, he's gonna do something, he goes to speak, and he realizes, oh shit, I can't talk. So Ichibei's just like, I told you, dude, I told you like 3 times, why didn't you listen to me? I'm like a ball of Mr. T, so yeah, pity the fool who just got his throat crushed, bitch!
I may have to rethink my strategy here. Long live the Zero Squad, motherfucker!
Boom! So he uses the same technique again, I guess, and just like directly. So yeah, boom, Yhwach just got knocked back 4,000 motherfucking yards. And then Ichibei, once again, I think he's planning on just knocking him right back down to the Vandente because he uses it again. He just gets knocked straight down. So I don't know if that was his original plan, but anyway, he gets hit and he's like, just make sure you've repented on the way down. And then we have Yhwach, who's getting, while in the process of falling at like Mach 3, he takes his fingers and he just like pierces his fucking throat with it. He starts bleeding and he states, I will bestow upon the voice myself. You know, he gives himself the power of the voice once more. And then he could talk again, and then he initiates his technique, which is Sancto Bogen, which is, I think this is the technique he used against Yamamoto. He summoned like that giant bow in the sky, and then that shot down an arrow, and then he picked it up as his like broadsword, but it's like the same kind of thing. It's like a giant bow in the sky he's using, except this time it has like 6 arrows instead of 1. So he uses this technique, and I shit you not, this is kind of hilarious. He uses this big technique. He fires off the arrows forward, and it's not to hit Ichibei, because Ichibei actually dodges them. Yhwach's main idea was to allow an arrow to pierce him, so it would cancel out like the inertia of him falling and would knock him back up to the Soul Palace. Like, I guess that's how dedicated he is, because I guess Yhwach knows if he falls down, he's not getting back up, especially since like the 16, like the barriers, the 72 barriers. If Yhwach falls down, I think he would get like ripped apart by the barriers. At least that's what he said last time. You know, anything that falls down, just because the friction would kill you. So I think that's what maybe Ichibei was trying to do, and you know, he knocks himself back up with that. Ichibei dodges the arrow, and he's like, shit, you used your own arrows to pierce yourself. You really are a terrifying dude. And he just appears behind Ichibei. He pulls the freaking arrow out of his chest. He doesn't look injured at all. And Ichibei just turns around. He's just like, I guess I'll just have to make your life, you know, I'll kill you myself. I'll have to make you forfeit your life. And we just get this blank expression in his pupils, which, on top of me being a child and doing shit like this, I guess you're just gonna have to forfeit your life, Bach. Or I have a better one. Rinnegan Ichibei. Now in attendance, the 6 paths of Ichibei. As long as we're doing Fondo with it, Sharingan Ichibei. I love you so much, my little brother. Okay, silly time over. Time for serious time. Okay. 2 things. Number 1, Yhwach bestowing the power of the voice onto himself. Second thing being what Ichibei's power is. Now, Ichibei's power, I think, is the quickest thing I can explain. Remember back when the Zero Squad first showed up, remember that none of the members of the Gote 13 called him Ichibei. They didn't use his real name. They always called him Osho, which means monk. Even Shutara referred to him as monk. You'd figure since Shutara is in the same, like you could just say like Shunsui did it out of respect because Ichibei is on a higher rank than him, but Shutara's also a member of the Zero Squad and she also used Osho. They never refer to him as his name. We had to find that out through a text box that Kubo gave us. So the only person to actually call Ichibei his name is Yhwach. Now, given the fact that Ichibei Hyosubi is the name giver, presumably the de facto leader of the Zero Squad, the first member of the Zero Squad, I guess it would make sense what he maybe bestowed a power of an ability on his own name. Like, if you speak his name, you're eventually going to lose your voice. That would make a lot of sense how come nobody else ever said his name. And that's just what happened with Yhwach. This leads him to using the voice. I'm thinking what this is that Yhwach, he has the power of soul division. He can break off part of his soul, give it to somebody else. I think that's just maybe he, separated his soul and then gave it back to him. Like, he bestowed the power onto him, however that works, and he just called it the voice. This makes a little bit of I want to say speculation that we've had here, that he could bestow more powers than just the 26 we've seen so far. Because obviously he didn't use V the visionary, he used V the voice. So I think he can actually bestow any number of powers. He just chose these 26 for the Stern Raiders, you know. I wondered why he didn't just use the Roar, because Jerome Geisbat's ability is sound-based as well. If he did the Roar, I can understand, like, that would be able for him to be able to speak. But maybe there's, like, an entire cornucopia of powers that he could use. Like, he could give, it could be like, he gave Basby the ability, I give you H, the heat, but I could also give you H, I don't know, the haze, and it's like a fog-based ability. Like, he has more powers he can give out than just the ones we've seen so far. So that's my theory, which makes Yhwach a much more scarier dude. But then again, we've seen Hashwolf state that, you know, he has, like, His Majesty has so many abilities. So that's what I basically mean. And since Yhwach is basically the personification of God in the Bleach universe right now, I could see him having, like, basically God-like abilities. Like, he can do anything. So that's my theory on that. So yeah, let me know below what you think of Ukitake. Like, what do you think about that shadow thing? And honestly, this kind of ties back into a video I made a while back called, like, the truth behind Ukitake, like, what he is. I'll put that link right here. But my basic contention in that video was just, like, Ukitake, we know so little about him. He might not be the good guy that we all want him to be, or how he sees on the surface. He might very well turn out to be, like, a villain or something. And I'm thinking, damn, but it could actually go that route. But, you know, never mind that. I don't think he's going to be that bad if I got... Oh my, Tekking-kun. It seems you may know too much about me. Huh. Oh, hi Ukitake, how you doing? No, I was talking about you, man. You are so good. You're like Superman. You are so lawful good. It's not even funny. I mean, you're so kind-hearted and... Yes, that's really cute. That's really cute. But, unfortunately, I can't have you spreading these rumors about me, you understand. So, you know... Okay, this is really nice, but I think I'm gonna go now. Tekking101 signing out. Oh god, I think I'm going to die tonight.